So we're 16 days into Project Reshore. We made a lot of progress. Wanted to give you some updates on what we've been doing, the progress that's happened, and why we're really excited. So Damien, if you want to start off, talk a little bit about what we've done behind the scenes and what's happening.
Well, I mean, obviously when you build luminaires, we're looking at drivers, optics and LEDs, and housings. And so we're trying to tackle all of these things at the same time. So we've kind of just started our production on a small batch of test drivers with our new designs. And so hopefully we'll get those in the next 10 days or so. And then obviously we're kind of reworking some of our designs because obviously depending on the manufacturing process, we're trying to figure out what pricing we get through different processes and have to update designs to try and maximize the value in whichever process, whether it's CNCing or casting. So it's,
which materials to use.
Exactly. Yep.
And the easy thing would be just reproduce what we have. But if we're going to go through all this, we'd hate to get all the way through and then say, hey, we need to do an update anyway. So we decided to accomplish everything.
Well, the hard thing is that, you know, China has, there's some really good things about it. Like they have really good supply chains and they have relatively inexpensive labor and expensive components. But when you try and take that to the US, that doesn't work because we don't have the exact same, we can't do things the exact same way.
Yeah,
so, you know, we want to leverage like what things is America good at, and we want to leverage those in our manufacturing process. So, you know, that's where automation starts to come in.
It'd be a lot easier if we just made a fixture and ordered a lamp. That would be a much simpler process, but we don't think that's the best technology. You know, the heat dissipation, we have a line coming on that's going to offer that, the Hearthstone line, but we really feel the integrated line that's serviceable allows you to double the life of your LED for proper heat dissipation. But let's talk a little bit about the challenges. Electronics, everyone says electronics just can't be made in America. We thought that.
Well, yeah, I think it's hard. I was like, but it's definitely doable. You know, especially when you want to lead in the industry. It's like, you know, we want high CRI and we want long lasting.
We could talk a little bit about our trip to RPI.
Nope.
So that was a lot of fun. My son's going there. We'll have some highlights on that. Wonderful campus. They really lead in landscape or in just lighting in general. A lot of the IES files come out of RPI. They have 2 different institutes there that train on lighting and are really pushing the boundaries of what people think lighting can do. So we set up with the head of LISA, head engineer, and spent a couple hours just dissecting our boards. We've already had our engineers look at it. We had an engineer overseas over in Austria look at it. We've had a number of people look at, you know, and all the little details just could be as simple as, you know, what we're coating it with to, you know, where our offsets are set. So all the things we probably never thought we'd be really doing in life, we're dissecting, taking apart, and getting ready to run that first batch.
Yep, it's a lot of work, and you know, and I think you know, when we talk about 90 days and having a product like, you know, we've gone 3 years of trying and failing at a number of different things. But, you know, as my friend John Bonnet always tells me, he's like, it's just paying tuition. And so I think those lessons where we did something wrong, we went back, we revised, we fixed, and then, you know, we made another attempt. Like that is what prepared us and give us the confidence that we know we can come out with something in the next, 75 days.
Yeah, it's an overnight success story that took 3-4 years to bring to fruition, but a lot of progress on the electronics, which is exciting. Also the It Just Works timer, that's in the final phase with ETL. The heat shrink connections, it's an important aspect to look at, you know, trying to get the entire system to make sure it's all ETL or UL certified. So we want to provide that for each of you. And then after that, we're looking at the LED itself. So we made some major upgrades in the LED, looking at CRI, which is important, making 99 our standard, but also looking at your saturation, your RF rating, your RG rating, your TM30 reports, and how can we produce the very best light. And we think we've found that. We've been working with a number of LED chip manufacturers, some in America, which is great, and then also optics as well. And so some huge updates with optics, really improving that, giving us more control. You know, LEDs, like the great benefit they have without the heat, we're able to put different sources, either TIR, elliptical optics. So we're able to use optics much closer than you would other light sources in the past, so we can control light better. And that industry has really progressed a lot. We're actually looking at an optic that potentially is made in America. They're looking to shift that as well, so that's exciting as well. And then coatings.
Yep. And one other thing to mention on that is our L70 ratings, like what we're trying to achieve. You know, yeah, you can get drop-in bulbs that 18,000 hour or 24,000 hour, but we're trying to extend the life of this LED as long as we possibly can, like get that in the 90,000 hours.
That's what we're shooting for, and that's heat dissipation. If you don't pull the heat off, once it goes over the temperature, you cut your LED in half. So even if you have a 36-hour L70 report, it still drops in half the moment you go over for an extended period of time. You'll cut yours right down to 18,000 and 9,000. So that's why you get, you know, some LEDs that are failing in 1 year because they just kept halving it, and it cuts it out quickly. But coatings is the other big exciting thing. So, you know, our goal is a 20-year, 15 to 20 years in the worst. So if we're at Turks and Caicos on James Selecki's dock, and we put a luminaire there that 15 years later it still looks great. And some of the tests we're showing is getting 20 plus years. And so for a lot of us that are in Virginia, Ohio, Michigan, Midwest, and you don't have that saltwater air, it's really a permanent luminaire. So, you know, having it serviceable and having the body casted in a way out of materials that are non-corrosive, and then putting the proper coatings on it, and it's typically going to be a multiple layered coating. So it's, you know, using a better brass, then using a better coating, then another coating, then a final coating. And then being able to customize that. So those are all things that we'll have coming available really soon with the Reshore. A great question we had on our roundtable is, now that the tariffs are down, what's Sterling's plan? Like, what's going to happen to the Sterling lighting product line? And we plan for worst case scenario. You know, what if products run out? Like, we want to make sure that everybody, if you sell a job, you have a product to offer. But just as important as that is, you know, for future protection, you know, protecting our supply chain. So the Sterling line, we have orders being fulfilled, ships being loaded up. So we'll have that inventory, should be really good on that, as we always stock up. So this is going to be an alternate line, and our plan is we want the American line to be very competitive with anything else out there. Obviously, not going through, you know, sales rep, distributor, whatever you want to call them. Your traditional ones in our industry, that's at 30 to 45% savings. So we're able to go better quality products and have very competitive pricing on it.
Yeah. No, it's, I don't know, there's a lot to pull together to get this right. But obviously the big thing is, like, you know, we want to get away from the disposable landfill economy, where you have cheap junk that lasts for a little while and then you have to replace it. Our goal is that we have something that lasts a lifetime, that you can switch out a part and still get the functional life out of the rest of the unit. So, you know, that's kind of backs the whole design philosophy behind Sterling.
Yeah, you're going to spend this much time on a design. We want the design to last, and so much of what we see out there does look disposable. After 7 years, you can really see the age on it. So we're excited, going back to the old ways that America used to make products that were beautiful, innovative, built to last. Companies stand behind them. So we really are embracing, you know, when America was building things and building them great. And so. Oh,
you look at it. I mean, how often do we go to China and see American-made equipment from the 50s still being used in production, and it's still chugging along? And, you know, it's just a testament to what, you know, our grandfathers did when they were building.
So we're excited. We hear you guys cheering for us. We hear the praises. A lot of people calling Damien and myself. You know, it really means a lot. And, you know, we're doing it to build something great, to build a, you know, a legacy system. And, you know, we'll keep you posted. We'll show different trips that we're going on and production happening. So stay tuned.